That's right, yet another patch has hit the servers and it looks like Classic Plus again this time, specifically because of one particular number, 1.60.0, from Mists of Pandaria 5.5.0 to 1.6. Keep in mind, SOD was 1.56, 1.57, and now there's a mysterious 1.58 server, but the 1.58 server was what kind of bricked the anniversary. It was back-end changes. There's nothing major there. There was no magic or mysteries of the universe. 1.15.8 was nothing more than back-end data. It's a vendor, just a regular build. You know, there was some stuff in there. For example, you know, you have your Legion bundles and your Warpath bundle and all that random ass shit. It's just TBC backend stuff, WoW token, in-game store. That was already addressed, that was handled. There's no mystery or magic or like, holy shit guys, this is Classic Plus, get ready. Backend stuff. It's setting it up for TBC anniversary. That's pretty much what this was. But this new build from Algalon, well not from Algalon, from the devs though, from today, it is an internal build. No alpha, no PTR, no backend. This is just for the devs to work on. Now, like everybody else, I can't wait for Classic Plus. I can't wait for, you know, SOD Phase 9, all that magical stuff. And I don't really want to clickbait people too hard. But this is real serious backend testing of Mists of Pandaria stuff being tested all the way back into, in this context, a vanilla server. And I'm not exactly sure how you go from a future patch and backend everything to 1.60. That's kind of wonky and wild to me. I'm not sure exactly what they're testing here. But I'm going to be right up front. This is not Classic Plus. This might be a Classic Plus alpha, if even that. And that, again, is pushing it. This is internal testing for systems for a particular game mode or for a particular version to make things from future expansions work in previous versions. Because we know they're working on Classic Plus, right? This isn't like a mystery or magic. We know there's some real internal, like, offline servers that aren't even going to ever be detected. That's how they worked on Midnight WoW for so long. That's how they work on, for example, Classic Plus or upcoming game modes without everybody ever finding out. So if they finally push something to the open internal servers, which is like now kind of connected to the internet. Again, I'm not some big Cody, don't take what I'm saying for granted. We can now start seeing some of the stuff they're working on. And in this context, we know nothing about nothing. We don't know a single thing about what's in these servers right here. What is this 5.5.0 to 1.60 patch we're looking at? Who the fuck knows? Now, I wanted to speculate, I wanted to theory craft, I wanted to deep dive it a little bit to kind of discuss exactly what this could potentially be and what this means for the entire player base, assuming it's a Classic Plus alpha or a Classic Plus dev build. Now, I don't think this is TBC anniversary because TBC anniversary would be jumping to 2.15, 2.35, 2.4, whatever number patch they're going with, because it's TBC, right? TBC isn't going to be 1.60. That would have been on the other client going for, in this context, from 1.58 to 2 point this, or maybe even a Wrath of the Lich King 3.8, and there was a 3.8 jump, but that might have been Titanfall's internal server testing. So a whole different ball game right there. Going from Mists of Pandaria back to Anniversary in a 1.6 kind of tells me that they're finally getting closer to maybe potentially announcing Classic Plus, or teasing it, or alpha beta testing it. Now, if they are going to be doing testing, it's going to be under full NDAs. Nobody actually going to have access to it. Even if a content creator does get in, you're not going to get any videos, any information about it. But this could explain why this is finally coming out in a very internal build, and a new one at that takes Mists of Pandaria to Classic. So let's assume this is Classic Plus alpha testing. Very, very early, very alpha testing. We are probably looking at new zones, Total WoW stuff, whatever they've kind of like hotfixed together or patched together. You're probably going to see a lot of people get all hyped and excited for this. And I'm going to be real, this isn't really anything major. I said this a few times. The whole point of this is them figuring out how to make future content, for example, from Mists of Pandaria, Warlords, Legion onwards, work in a classic backend setting. Now 1.60, it could be them fixing all the issues with the anniversary, like the classic client, and trying to make the classic client work. So the 5.50 is still actually 5.50. It's the Mists of Pandaria, the Warlord client, that works a lot better and is separated from all the anniversary or the era or the classic servers and lets them actually test things without breaking everything else. Because the 1.58 patch forked anniversary. It added the WoW token, all this backend TBC stuff, and then anniversary broke. A shit ton of Naxx bosses were unplayable. People's UIs were broken. The macro was broken. They fucked up a lot of things with the pushing of the TBC patch with new stuff onto the anniversary patch. So because of that, this new internal testing might finally be them spinning up a new client separate, which actually allows them to test things and push things and do things without it bricking the rest of the goddamn classic anniversary. Now, this could also be them trying to do TBC changes in the backend without breaking classic anymore. This could quite literally just be TBC changes. We have to be realistic. I know a lot of people are going to be hyped and excited about it. People are going to be screaming, Classic Plus is finally here, or they're testing, or SOD Phase 9, or any of these things. And it's as much as I want it to be real, as much as I hope from the bottom of my heart, from the heart of my heart, from everything deep inside of me that this is something major, something amazing, something top tier. The realistic answer is this patch is fucking nothing. But you look at this and you just think to yourself, what if this was Classic Plus? What if this was them starting to get things ready? It could potentially mean a Warcraft Direct this year, which could be phenomenal. A TBC roadmap of what's coming, the exact phases, showing BlizzCon with a big question mark at the end of there for September 12 and 13, 2026. Getting our hopes up and getting people excited. A Warcraft Direct would also help with retail, when 11.2.7 is, when, for example, Midnight pre-patches, Midnight WoW's release date. A Warcraft Direct would actually do really well today, this year in particular, to get the player base back on track, because Gamescom was a disaster. They did a separate showcase later on showing more things for retail and getting people more hype for Midnight WoW. They've been doing a lot of alpha testing, getting things ready for everybody, housing, for example, and all this stuff. Legion Remix. We know there's more game modes coming out from the game modes team. A Warcraft Direct would probably do really, really well with just setting every single version of World of Warcraft up for success. Getting everybody hyped and excited, because let's be real, we know nothing about TBC. When's pre-patch, when it's dropping, what the phases look like. Is it accelerated? Is the gear changes? Is the class balancing changes? Is the changing raid like lust and like heroism? Like what exactly are they doing? How exactly are they changing things? And what exactly is that going to look like? We know nothing. We don't even know a release date for an expansion that's quite literally dropping in less than, at the latest, 12 weeks. Because assuming Naxxramas lasts, let's say, 16 weeks, right? Which is unlikely. But again, we know the rough time frames. We just don't have any dates. Is pre-patch 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? What is it going to be? So a Warcraft Direct with them teasing, for example, Classic Plus, or them teasing all this other information, and retail WoW getting the release dates already, would do amazing for the entire community, getting everybody ready, excited right now at this moment to be hyped for the future. Because there's a lot of like negativity around Classic WoW, around private servers, around all the things that are happening, because people don't want to really be excited. They want to hate on Blizzard, and that's fair. They've made a lot of mistakes, especially the Classic player base, very negative, very angry, very angsty. They saw the WoW token get added and they lost their mind. I'm part of that, right? Level boosts happening and all these things. People are negative in general because of the current mentality that Blizzard has abandoned us. We don't matter. China #1. Blizzard, NA, EU, terrible. We don't get anything. So giving us a Warcraft Direct to get us excited, get us hyped, would do great. And it would also showcase that they're working on things, especially if this 1.60 is actually for a future version that isn't actually coming out. Actual internal testing of internal servers and internal game modes. It could be amazing. Because when SOD first got announced, when it first got pushed into the backend with testing, nobody knew what that was. They were like, huh? What is this new Classic server? What is this shit? We thought it was Classic Plus. Turned out to be SOD. This could be a repeat of that. But hey, thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comments down below what you think this is. Do you actually think this is Classic Plus? Or do you think this is yet again another TBC anniversary thing? Or another alpha testing thing where they're just figuring things out and has nothing to really do with our Classic Plus or the Classic Plus we'll get in the future? Thank you all. Ebonheart out. Like and subscribe, or don't. It is what it is. Be a dedicated hater if you're going to half-ass it. Dislike and subscribe. Peace, everybody.